Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
We're live at the Mind Book Fair, powered by Life Improvement Radio, lifeimprovementradio.com or helimradio.com or neilhaley.com. It's your choice, or follow me on Twitter at TotalTutor. And I'm excited, first, to welcome my co-host, Eric Remmel. Eric, we continue to journey another year at the Miami Book Fair. Wish I was here. I'm freezing cold in Pittsburgh. You're kind of freezing, you said, in St. Petersburg, Florida. But, Eric, we learned so much from these guys, don't we? And we never thought that we would have a monk on and also a rocket scientist back-to-back, right, when we started in radio.
I know. How cool is that? How cool is that?
I had to bring, I had to bring that up. So I'm going to make many mistakes if I'm speaking with a rocket scientist. So I'm excited to welcome to the program Sylvia Acevedo, author of Path to the Stars. She's the CEO of Girl Scouts of the USA and a former rocket scientist. Sylvia, thanks for calling. I guess always a rocket scientist. How are you?
Oh, I'm just delighted to be here. I'm excited to be talking to you and about Path to the Stars.
Absolutely. And let's kind of go, specifically enough. Is this your first time attending the Miami Book Fair?
Yeah, this is the first time that I'm attending the Miami Book Fair, and I'm really excited. One of the things that I insisted with Path to the Stars is that it come out at the same time in Spanish as well as English. So that's great because there's so many bilingual speakers here. The book is available both in English and Spanish, and it's at the 8th grade level. So what my adult friends tell me is that the book is a really easy read because it's a young adult, and they think, wow, I think I should be reading more young adult books. But it's really geared towards that middle school student. And, the reason I wrote it is I really wanted to inspire kids to take more math and science because the world is being recreated around us. And if you have a little bit of math, science, bit of programming, that really opens up so many career opportunities. So my book was that opportunity to inspire kids to, literally reach for their stars and take some math and science, and I think they'll have more opportunities in their life.
They're definitely going to have more opportunities, Sylvia, and I think that's a great point. And I think when I talk about as a former educator and owning a tutoring and consulting company, the importance of math and science and how people really need to be strong regardless of gender is so important because our lives are changing to technology. Everything is going to be technological, and the more science and math we have in school, the better success we're going to have in life.
You're absolutely right. Now, I had a more traditional career in terms of engineering, and then I was in rocket science, and then I did switch into technology. But, right now, as you mentioned, the world is being recreated around technology. Everything around us from, cars, the way we control the climate in our homes, even the way that we have these devices in the home that we talk to that turn on lights, turn off lights, turn on the television, all these things. The world is being recreated around us, and it's so important that kids have the basics so that they can have an opportunity in the career. Even an industry like fashion, a $3 trillion industry, is completely being remade around technology. So no matter your interest, whether it's art, science, theater, whatever it is, it's wonderful to be unplugged from the computer, but it's also important to have a bit of that science and technology, and you'll have more career opportunities. And that's really one of the things that I realized in my life. Because I had this great grounding in math and science, I had so many opportunities available to me. And there's going to be even more opportunities for the youth today if they have a good grounding in math and science.
Yes, I agree. And what is your thought, Sylvia, on Common Core and how they're teaching math and science in schools today?
There's a lot of different approaches, and I know a lot of different states take different approaches to the Common Core and just to different, like Singapore math and all the different types of math. I think it's really important that kids have an absolute strong grounding in math. When we're thinking about technology, basically recreating the world around us, it's being done with things called the algorithms, which are basically mathematical or computer statements. And so no matter which way you approach math, you've got to have the grounding of understanding of the logic of how numbers work, so that you can participate in any number of careers, from insurance, manufacturing. It's just amazing all the careers that are being redone around computers and technology. So I really do believe that no matter which path you take, it's just important to have some math and science. But my book also talks about the importance of being physically fit. I played basketball. I also loved music, and I played percussion. So, as a middle schooler reading the book, it's not just going to be study math. It's really an engaging story about my life.
Exactly. I mean, come on now. A rocket scientist? I think that's something that will inspire so many people, Sylvia. But it looks like your turning point in your life came with the Brownies and Girl Scouts in certain ways.
You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my family, all my grandparents were from Mexico. My mom was born in Mexico. My dad was born in El Paso, Texas. And we lived in a very Spanish-speaking neighborhood. And all was fine in my life, but then my sister got sick, and my mom realized it was only people in that neighborhood where there's dirt streets. We lived in near poverty and literally did live on dirt streets. And my mom moved us to another part of town, and I'm grateful for that, because through that experience, I got introduced to Girl Scouts. And, when I think about Girl Scouts, what it did for me is it really was the inflection point in my life.
Yes.
It changed my life trajectory. One, I realized there were girls who like your daughter, who like to do fun things, like to go outdoors and discover the world. And you learn a lot about courage and confidence when you try different things out of doors. So I definitely got that. And then also, it really taught me how to create opportunity through the cookie program. When you're raised in near poverty, you don't know how to create opportunity. So in Girl Scouts, I learned that you can set goals. And then once you set a goal, you create the path to achieve those goals. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can make my dreams come true. And as a result of that, in fourth grade, when my one section in the book of Path to the Stars talks about how my fourth grade teacher showed us pictures of universities. And remember, I was growing up in the desert, Las Cruces, New Mexico, the second most severe desert to the Sahara. So when she showed a picture of Stanford University, the green verdant hills, and I just blurted out I wanted to go there. And she said, she walked up to my desk and she said, that's one of the best universities in the U.S. and the world. And then she said, you can go there. And as that young Girl Scout, I said, I know how to achieve my goals, and I set my goal. And I'm just so proud of the fact that, I never lost focus, and I ended up being one of the first Hispanic male or females to have ever gotten their graduate engineering degree from Stanford.
Now, Eric, her story is amazing, Sylvia's, isn't it, Eric?
Absolutely amazing. I'm just sitting here awestruck with all that she's accomplished. I mean, you've done quite a lot. You got anything you're working towards in the future? Maybe like Nobel Peace or another planet or something?
Well, the great thing in Girl Scouts is we really give girls the tools so that they can do amazing things to make the world a better place. And I'm just so excited about how many girls take on these society grand challenges and earn their gold award. I mean, it's, in fact, one of the great things about Girl Scouts is, 58% of the new congresswomen were elected were Girl Scouts. And almost right now, three-fourths of the senators in the U.S. were Girl Scouts, all the secretaries of state. And what I'm really proud of, too, is almost every female astronaut that's gone up in space was a Girl Scout. So we're 8% of the girl population, but our lifetime out, what you learn at Girl Scouts changes your life and your life outcomes, just like it changed my life outcomes. I think that's why I'm so passionate about Girl Scouts. But with this book, Path to the Stars, I know for teachers, it's such an invaluable aid for them because it's a personal story that can get, maybe a non-traditional student interested in, pursuing a non-traditional, career like engineering or math or science. And then also, I do talk about, the well-rounded opportunities in education, like being in band, playing sports, having friends. It's a story of a kid. And I'm just really grateful that, it's helped so many teachers. I've heard teachers tell me that they've gone and applied for grants so that every single student in their school can have the book because they felt like it could really inspire boys and girls to really, reach for their stars, what is their path and really figure out, how do I set that goal? How do I make it happen for myself?
Now, let's kind of
I think something's really needed. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Neil. No, I was just saying, I just think that's amazing. I think it's something that's really needed nowadays.
What I'm amazing is poverty. How Sylvia was able to overcome poverty, be successful, rocket scientist, CEO of the Girl Scouts. Kind of take us to how you said the Girl Scouts were such an important part of this, but how it was a group of people, I'm sure, that mentored you to the point as success academically and then as a career and now at the level that you are today.
Well, I was very fortunate. I was in a pilot program for Head Start, and I had a great teacher who understood that I was not that kid that loved arts and crafts, and when we did show and tell, she didn't have me work on a craft. She realized I was much more book-oriented. So when all the kids at the end of the week would show off the craft project that they had done, she would have me describe a book. So I really developed this love of learning and explaining from that from that teacher. And then, in Girl Scouts, I realized that when I first joined it, I loved it. But then I realized, how was my family going to pay for stuff? Because we really lived paycheck to paycheck and sometimes didn't have enough money between paychecks. And my troop leader said, don't worry, you're going to sell cookies. And she taught me some, really important things. One is, how do you create opportunity? How do you set those goals? And, when you're in poverty, if you knew how to do that, you'd get out of poverty. So there wasn't anyone around us that was teaching me those things. So learning that at Girl Scouts was so important. And then the other thing she taught me was, never walk away from a sale until you've heard no 3 times. And that built confidence and resilience, so that later in life when a guidance counselor told me I couldn't be an engineer because I was a girl, I didn't hear her. That was just one no. I kept going on, and, obviously later on my first job was as a rocket scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Labs, and I worked on a couple of missions, Voyager 2 and Solar Probe. So, those people were so instrumental of giving me that, that additional mentoring, that support, and teaching me those skills that really help shape my way of thought, so that I realized that I could create opportunity, I could set goals, I could make my future come true. And I hope that when kids read that, teachers read that, parents read it, that's what they get for their kids. It's like, yes, it doesn't have to be dismal. You can. My family, we had horrible tragedy, as I mentioned about my sister. We lived paycheck to paycheck, lived on dirt road streets, but still, you can, achieve your dreams. And that's
now, Sylvia,
Path to the Stars.
Would be the greatest story, being the CEO of Girl Scouts of the USA, for you to be an astronaut and go up at one point. Is there any possibility, especially to carry the banner of the Girl Scouts to get to do that?
Out in space. I'm actually more interested in how do you break gravity's grip than actually going out in space. But I know a lot of people that their dream is to be an astronaut, and I think really what that is you look at the sky and your dreams are as big as the universe, and that's really what I encourage kids, and really what I hope they get out of Path to the Stars is that no matter what your dream is, it could be as big as the universe, you can make it come true. Because frankly, it's my life path is really atypical. It's not common, but yet I've been able to achieve these great accomplishments, and they can too.
And you should never give up, Sylvia, with people that tell you no, right? You just go through that door, right? When
you find a way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely find a way through. One of the things I briefly touch on in the book that is, even when I was I graduated from college and I'd switched from being a rocket scientist and started to work in Silicon Valley. Sometimes my bosses would say, "I don't think you can head up our international operations or our global operations." And I'd say, "Why?" And they'd say, "Because you're a woman." And it's like, okay, so what is it you're concerned about? And they said, well, concerned about your safety. So a couple of times in my career, I on my own paid for my own flight, went to those countries, took pictures of myself, met with business people, and then flew back and then showed my boss, okay, see, this was your reason that you said I couldn't go there is I couldn't travel there and come back safely. I've done it. And, then I got those jobs.
Yeah.
So you've got to find, when people hold up, something that says you can't do it, what I tell people is be persistent. Don't give up. I always tell people, you got to hear no's at least 3 times. That's something that's been invaluable in my life.
Okay, best place we can find information on you. I cannot wait to tell my daughter. I interviewed the CEO of the Girl Scouts and your story and everything. Where's the best place we can find information on you and stuff?
Well, you can find me I Google very high, Sylvia Acevedo. You can find me through my website. You can find me on Girl Scouts.
I knew that.
Yeah, and then, the book is available at independent bookstores. It's available online as well. It's selling incredibly well. It is really getting strong adoption. I find boys up until age 9 at least love the book. And then in middle school, I think they're not identifying as much with a strong female role model, at least not all boys. But I tell you, with girls, they are loving the book. And parents, both men and women, I've had so many men buy the book and really feel inspired by it. And then a lot of people are buying the book and asking me to sign it because they're giving it as a Christmas gift. So I'm just seeing that there's a really strong demand for the book, and I'm just so excited about it because I wrote it to really make a difference and to give kids hope that they, too, no matter what their circumstances are. I mean, I grew up very poor, and they can have the life of their dreams.
And I believe we all can too. So thanks for calling and thanks for taking the time. And you Google very high. I found somebody today on the show that Googles better than I do, Eric. So, or maybe close. We'll have to.
That's funny.
So, Sylvia.
Well, thank you for promoting.
Yeah.
Thanks for promoting Path to the Stars. And like I said, it's also in Spanish, Camino a las Estrellas. I really appreciate the work that you're doing. You're making a difference in the youth of America.
Oh, thank you. And go ahead and Google me too, Sylvia, and say if I was right about that. I think you still Google higher, so we'll go with that. Okay. All right. All right, take care.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, powered by Life Improvement Radio, live from the Miami Book Fair, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.